Hello, everybody, and welcome to Honey Badger Radio. My name is Brian, and I am here with the boss, Allison. And this is, well, I guess it's a dating show. It's a date. That's how I put it in.
Yeah. I don't know if any of this is going to result with a date or
No.
dateable people, but yeah, well, there you go.
No.
Maybe we can issue some corrections
Yeah, right.
in the hopes of actually getting men and women into relationships. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's okay. So, yeah, happy Labor Day, by the way. Today's Labor Day here in the States.
And here we have some labor.
This is definitely going to be laborious, labor intensive, if anything.
All right. So what we're doing is we're going through. Yeah, we're doing the emotional labor, so you don't have to. We're going through SheraSeven.
It's a YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's
called
a YouTube channel.
SheraSeven.
Yeah, and she's part of, I believe, the female dating strategy Reddit. If you have ever.
Is she? That makes sense because I think she's one of the progenitors of the sprinkle thing,
which she repeats over and over again until it feels like I'm losing my mind. But yes, she's part of female dating strategy. She believes in the spoilt girly philosophy. I don't know if that Manifestel has copyrighted that, but she believes a man should be a provider, but not that a woman should take care of anything domestic, even with the reduced tasks involved in taking care of things domestic. So in essence, she wants to be a kept woman, except she doesn't want to give a man the satisfaction of having a kept woman. She wants him to know that she never really needed him, but she just wants him to buy everything and do it. She could do it herself. So he's not actually saving her for poverty or inability, because she could always do it herself. And she wants him to know that, right? She's not even offering the possibility of the man saying, oh, I'm saving someone who would otherwise be, destitute. No, he can't get that. He just has to give her stuff, even though she could do it for herself, because she's that valuable. And he isn't, essentially. And that's a high value man, a man who actually agrees to purchasing a woman's time and tending to all of her needs because she's worth it and he isn't.
Yep. I mean, I don't have anything to add.
That's
when you said you had me at female dating strategy. You had me at that FDS.
Of course.
And somebody in the chat is saying FDS is cancerous. Be careful, that cancer spreads. We've known about them.
Yeah, but we are chemotherapy, friend.
Yeah.
We are micro-directed radiation. Hell, we're even like a CBD oil when it comes to cancer. Like, we're all of it. Every conceivable possible remedy for cancer, we are it. So there we go. I think we're equipped here, is what I'm saying. Equipped to deal with the cancer. Although I will point out that she has almost 750,000 subs. So this is a very popular attitude among women, which is sort of terrifying, but in some ways sort of understandable too, when you really get into the nitty-gritty of female psychology and how it works. But a little bit disheartening. But she's like the final boss of all this bullshit.
Really?
Right here. Yeah. Well, maybe there's another final. Maybe think she's the teaser final boss.
There could all sometimes there's like a secret boss that's more difficult, but you have to jump through a bunch of hoops to find it. She might not be the secret boss, but she could be certainly
a level boss?
One of the higher level bosses, yes.
There we go.
Yeah,
she's definitely a higher level boss. We're getting more into the.
Make sure you have all your auras and buffs set up before you confront this one.
Yeah.
Get all the buffs in.
What I'm saying is we are, I guess, making progress in the game of confronting these people. In that, well, is it progress though? I mean, I guess we could have always gone to her first, but we've gotten through Manifestel, Hannah Cox, that woman I want to call Miss Piggy, but that's not her actual name. Byrony, because she just has the color palette. I'm just saying, not anything, not body shaming, but she has the color palette. You know what I mean? of
Byrony, Bryony. It's Bryony because there's an R in there.
Bryony. Yeah, she has the color palette. I have to remind myself to look up at the camera, not down at Brian's little video.
You mean my face?
Yeah. I'm going like this because the camera's here, right? And you're here, and it's what I need like a little screen right here with your face on it, so I could be like, I'm talking to that. I'm not talking. But what I have right now is just a little star with a happy face, and it's not good enough. It's got to be you there.
So you got to use your peripherals. Yeah, I'm using my peripherals to look at you, but I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at this video that we're responding to, which is right under the camera, so it looks like I'm looking at the camera. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
You're on monitor 3 over here to my right. The chat is on monitor 1, and the show is on monitor 2.
Yeah,
I have to do that, otherwise I don't have any space.
My setup's more just a nest of wires and like arms. So
like the wires are like the crown of thorns, but around your ankles. It's like that.
Yeah, and I can't move.
Speaking of which, on another note, because I know this is going to be like absolute cringe. And I got to play it at a higher speed, too. Let me get that ready, because she is, well, how would you describe her candor? It's like, I got to play it at least 1.5. I'll do 1.5. Like her manner of speaking.
Oh, that's not candor, because you're throwing me a real curveball. You mean like tempo, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Candor, her tempo.
Means actual honesty. I'm like, candor is
zero, no.
Friends.
Well, she probably is being honest about what she wants and expects.
Well, I could use a lot less sniggering. Men. Like, there's a ton of sniggering going on in this video. Lots of sniggering, like constant sniggering.
Allison, I don't think you should use the word sniggering to refer to this video. It sounds a little too.
No, but just
let's get a little close.
You're listening to her.
I want to show you guys who we're responding to. Hold on, let me switch scenes here, so you guys can see it.
I'm sorry. I defend myself in my assessment of the sniggering. Go to 2 hours and 47 minutes and 40 seconds in. Okay.
For what?
For a sound bite. I just wanted to.
47 minutes and 40 seconds?
I had to put this through 2 AIs to start to thin out the stream of crap that this woman gives. Yes.
What's the time code?
Sorry. Again, it is 2 hours, 47 minutes, and 40 seconds.
Okay, so I got to go back a little bit. Nope, no, it's not quite right. It's not quite right.
Yeah,
all right, here we go.
Yeah, okay, there we go.
Thank you, Sprinkle. So to answer the question, I would not be converting to any man's religion unless he had a super church. And I could be the first lady at a super church and be in charge of the building fund. But I would not be converting, ma'am.
Was that the laugh?
Just
was that
keep
it?
Going. Finish it off.
I'll play some more.
Unless that's part of the job.
I'm playing it a little bit faster, so.
You got a super church? You got that?
Do you see
that? You got a helicopter?
Yeah, it's like. Do you guys remember the Wacky Races?
Yeah, Snidely Whiplash dog.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Muttley, I believe the dog's name was.
Yes. Okay.
Muttley,
okay,
yes.
So we won't call it sniggering. We'll just call it muttleying.
Yeah, Muttley.
No,
she's
but seriously,
muttleying.
that's a lot of sniggering there. She's constantly doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Almost continuously. Okay, give me a synonym.
It's probably like there's I would well, you're saying sniggering. You could just say snicker. Like the candy bar. Snickering. No. Okay, all right.
Isn't that a word, or did I make it up? Laugh in a half suppressed, typically scornful way. Snicker is different. Snigger is laugh in a half suppressed, scornful way. And snicker is give a half. Oh, it is. Okay, I guess we could call it snickering.
You can say snigger if you want to. I'm just being funny. People are going to clip it though. You're going to make like a snigger supercut video somewhere.
I can hear the.
Yeah.
I can hear the.
They're gonna be playing it over, in the Hall of the Mountain King, as like your repetition of the term increases in intensity. So
I can hear the keyboard shortcuts being shortcut.
I just gave you a free one. Whoever's gonna do that, you're welcome.
You know what's gonna happen, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, but just finish this off. Like this is astounding.
The rest of this clip?
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Don't say anything. I'm switching to it now.
You got a Rolls Royce? You got a Benz? You got a Maybach? You got that Super Church money? All right. I can lie. Okay, star, sprinkle. Is dress up happy hour is too obvious. Seems errands, casual works better. Yeah, but not sure. It's because girl, just go to all.
Okay, this is the trouble with this freaking entire. She talks so slowly, and then
You have to speed her up.
You have to speed her up, but then
is it too fast now?
Then she spits it out like a machine gun. But the other thing is that I know people get on our case, like they think that we could do something to make this channel blow up. This woman has sat in front of her computer screen doing this as a stream 3 hours. There's no production quality. She spends 5 minutes just looking on her computer at points to just find a comment, and there's no actual like insight. It's all just the repetition of particular phrases like sprinkle and snicker or snicker, sorry, snicker, like just and it's and contradiction. Like at one point she says pickmeishas are making it so I guess they're giving men too good a deal. And by the way, pickmeishas apparently are women who do anything for men. That includes paying, and it also includes domestic work. So any woman who is a partner to her partner is a pickmeisha. And I assume that also includes mental labor too, like emotional labor. I'm sure women like this will get on women for giving emotional labor for men. So if a woman does anything in her partnership with a man, she is a pickmeisha, right? And there doesn't seem to be any middle ground. So you could have a relationship where they both pay the bills. No, there's no apparent middle ground. I think that still qualifies as a pickmeisha, because a woman should seek a man who is willing to do everything for her. I mean, everything. Like wipe her ass like she's an invalid kind of thing. Feed her, wipe her. Like literally, this is, they call this spoiled girly. This is just infant mentality.
Yes.
It's like somebody didn't have a daddy growing up. Like she still craves a man wiping her ass for her. It's like, yeah, I'm afraid you're an adult now. You don't get that. You missed out probably because your mother didn't keep a man around. That's unfortunate for you, but now you don't get that anymore. You're an adult. You don't get a man to wipe your ass. You had one chance, and that was when you were 1. Like now it's over. It's done. You know what I mean?
Fatherless behavior. I do. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Well, it's just like you said, they I don't know. I think that this, first of all, it's childish. It's entitlement.
Mm-hmm.
It's not realistic. It's not grounded in reality. It's kind of delusional. Well, no, it's really delusional. Mm-hmm. They overestimate their worth. They overestimate their expectations. And then when they don't find it, they blame men for not meeting these ridiculous expectations. So they're kind of playing a losing game. And the worst part is there will have to either be some major catastrophe before they say, holy shit, maybe I'm the problem. Or they're just going to continue to suffer in delusion, saying, man, if these men out here weren't so dusty, I'd be doing better. And it's just like, but maybe you're a bitch and men don't want to be around a bitch. Like what these women they assume what men want, and they're completely wrong. And so they're operating off of a bad presumption about male desire and male expectations. And they end up never finding anyone because they're just completely like misled, I guess, or just wrong or narcissistic enough to not care. And
okay, my overall impression, we probably we do need to decide if we're going to do the pickmeisha or so we because this is such a long thing, and I will get
3.5 hours of sprinkle.
We broke it down into two main parts. Okay, two main parts. The first part is shaming the pickmeisha. So making sure that women adhere to this particular value system so that, I don't know, they get a better deal. It's not going to happen, by the way. But regardless, I mean, if you want a better deal, you need men not to be dealing with a society that is trying to end their ability to make more than women. Like, try to destroy that, okay? But so that was one section, shaming the pickmeisha, because apparently pickmeishas such as myself are responsible for the lack of eligible married men,
quality men that meet their standards. Yeah,
we're getting in the way of the manifestation vibe somehow. You know, our energy is too. Yeah, exactly. We're like some kind of tuning fork, and our energy, we're giving off vibes that are destroying the ability of women like SheraSeven and Manifest Out.
The manifesting thing, I know that you want to just not you, Alison, but like people might want to think of it as essentially what it is magical thinking, but they really believe this shit. Like they really, look, I blame Oprah and The Secret. That's what this is. It's people that watch Oprah, women that watched Oprah, and they were like, oh, if I can just speak, if I can just visualize this thing and then continue to visualize it, I can manifest it. That's woman shit.
No, that's and the irony is that is not actually what The Secret teaches. And I'm not saying that I believe in The Secret, but The Secret was more like you have to, if you want to manifest something into your life, you have to have that energy yourself.
Yeah, so because I know what you're saying, because you do it and then you get it. It's like,
yes,
or
exactly.
you have a goal and then you start acting in the world like you want this thing, which will essentially, it's a way of getting people to change habits and change their behavior. But it's become it's become essentially the whole Disney when you wish upon a star thing. This is I think this is one of the reasons why these women are really into Disney movies, because they want to be able to wish for shit and have it happen. And probably they've had that, to some degree, they've had people around them that just give them what they want when they ask for it. So they start thinking, well, this is how the world works.
Yeah. And in this case, with The Secret, if you wanted to manifest someone generous in your life, you would be generous. That's how it works. If you want to improve your relationship, you want more affection, then you present more affection. That kind of
karma.
Thing. Yeah, it's like karma, but I think if you really break it down, there is actually some intelligence to it. The problem is that they go with the woo. They think that pretending that they have value means they have value. It is magical thinking. If all the women around them say they have a certain value, that suddenly they do have that value. That's not how it works. And then they just think that they can imagine what they want and get it. And while I don't completely disagree with The Secret or even the idea of positive thinking, you cannot manifest enough Christian Greys in our society to fulfill all of the women attempting to manifest him. It's just not going to happen. If every woman is trying to manifest the top 100, top 99th percentile, it's just not going to happen. And if they did, they wouldn't be happy with it either. They would be still going for the top 1% of the top 1%. We've discussed this. It's this is a proposition of never being satisfied. And honestly, I think it does come back to fatherless behavior. This woman wanted a time where she felt protected and provided for by a man utterly, and she never got it because she didn't have a dad. I'm guessing. Maybe she did. Maybe this is, but if she did have a dad, then she's just somebody who's exploiting women who do want that. They wanted a time period where they felt completely provided for and protected by a man. And that's childhood. Childhood is over now. Grow up.
Yep. Well, let's get so we have two ways we're looking
Pickmeishas.
at this.
Yeah, pickmeishas.
One
and the other
is the
Shaming pickmeishas.
in defense of pickmeishas, and the other is the ways essentially that women like this treat men like vending machines, like vending machines or property, or just like a means to an end. And it's dehumanizing and it's disgusting. And that's the part that when I looked at the clips, that was what my takeaway was. Now, before we get into it, you should probably do the things like the.
Oh yeah. Like right now I really don't have anything up, but in terms of the monthly fundraiser, I will be doing that shortly because we do have to get the funds to go to Calgary. Apologies, I've just been dealing with some chaos in my own life. But
I was just talking about the Super Chows.
Oh, okay. There was no judgment. Okay.
No.
All right. So if you want to send us a Super Chow, you can do so at feedthebadger.com/support. And it's the very best way to give us a tip, and the very best way for you to send us those comments. Goes directly to our desk. You don't have to run the gauntlet of the YouTube comment enhancement system, the survival system, whatever you want to call it. So once again, feedthebadger.com/justthetip for all of your comments. You want to defend this woman? That would be very amusing. That would be a hilarious comment to attempt to defend this person and her sniggering. Okay, I said that. I said it again.
No, say it. That's okay.
Okay.
Say it. Snigger away.
She just does it a lot. And I feel like the word snicker just doesn't, it seems more like a snicker seems more lighthearted. You know what I mean?
Mm. Sure.
It's a snigger seems more like what it is.
Yeah. I get it.
Okay. You get it. Yeah. Yeah. It's just the sounds. You know what I mean? I'm really digging the hole, aren't I?
No, it's okay. You're fine.
All right, let's go.
All right. So let's see. I got a Rumble rants, so I should read those. OIC gave us $1, 2 Rumble rants, $1 for each. Thank you, OIC. And he says, spoiled girlies remind me about that one lady who was teaching her viewers how to get a billionaire boyfriend. Laughs niggardly. Laughs niggardly. Sniggeredly.
Sniggeredly.
Yes, of course. Sniggeredly. All right. So do you want to do my picks, like my part, or how does this work? Yours or mine or what? Take turns? I don't know.
Okay, so again, it's the shaming of pickmeishas versus how to extort crap out of men. Spoilers lie, essentially. I think that's pretty much what you got, Rizit.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Let's go for the getting stuff out of men. Let's do that.
All right. So the first one I got is called The Role of Sugar Daddies. So let's see if I can go to that bit. It's like right around here, and I'm gonna play it. So don't say anything.
On the roster. Okay.
Oh God, those pauses, like Jesus.
Sprinkle.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I'm gonna tell the Dusty something, or the men who don't claim to be Dusty but don't want to date women that have baby daddies. Okay, if you don't want to date women that have baby daddies, then go after women that don't have baby daddies. But don't get mad at the ones that already have baby daddies or talk trash about them if you don't even want them. What's the point? You can't unhave a baby. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it just shows me a lot of frustration with men who think that.
Oh, I'm sorry, I have the wrong time code. 4524.
Yeah, wait.
You want me to play some more of
that? So a man is a Dusty if he doesn't want to take care of some other man's child. Like literally, this isn't just women don't provide anything in marriage. They don't now you're just piling on baggage. A man shouldn't just want somebody who is a partner and provide something. They should also have no opinion about the amount of baggage she brings to the relationship. Debt, children, untamed wild animals, did all of that shit. Just deal with it, right? Otherwise you're a dusty. You're a man with not the right attitude. The attitude of a high value man is that his time, his presence, his skills, his money, his material goods are worth nothing. They should all be sacrificed in service of a so-called high value woman. And why is she high value? Because she sat behind her shrine with her healing crystals and her incense, and she has really thought hard about how wonderful she is.
Yep.
I mean, I don't think that I'm really being out off the wall here. Like, this sounds like an absolutely terrible deal for men. And if a man was high value, why would he take it? Like, why would a man, like one of these men, like, let's just imagine the perfect guy that this woman is manifesting with her crystals and incense, and she's got him in her mind. Why would that man, who probably, if you think about it, if he is in the top 1%, that at the very least, he probably has hundreds of women after him. Why would he select the woman with baggage over the woman, a young woman, if that's what he's into, a younger woman who's still fertile, still beautiful, or even in some cases, like high flying men, like a woman who also is a go-getter. And this is the thing, she isn't representing career women. She isn't representing women who have, are artistic or do anything or pursue any excellence, because she would say that providing that for a man negates your value as a woman. Pursuing any kind of excellence, pursuing any kind of career, that negates your value as a woman. A man should do that for you. So she's not speaking for these women. The only women she's speaking for are women who apparently have the mentality of a parasite. Okay, but we were supposed to talk about how to get things out. Did that really reference how to get things out? No, I guess she's just shaming men. She's just shaming men.
She is just shaming men, but that was the wrong clip. I'm saying I went to the wrong time code. But I do want to point something else out that I think is interesting. So she is essentially caping for single mothers. So she puts single mothers above pickmieshas, right? So the pickmeishas are lower on, because like she's not defending them. So this is kind of like going more towards your point. Single moms or women with baby daddies that men don't want to mess with are higher up on her hierarchy. She is defending them with more vigor than what she considers pick-me's. Just pointing that out. Just saying that pick-me's are below single moms. In case you're wondering why everything is garbage right now.
Okay,
that might give you a hint, but go ahead.
Since we are actually, and considering that a lot of this mentality, a lot of this cope appears to be women who never got any chance to be taking care of a man and having them protect and provide them to that level that a father would, right? Mm-hmm. Since we're on the topic, then let's just go with the pickmeishas. Let's just do her analysis of the shaming of the pickmeishas. So right. Go to let's see. Okay, just go to about 30 seconds in.
30 seconds? Wow, that's right at the beginning.
Yeah, right at the beginning.
Okay, hold on.
We're going to be moving around a lot as we go through this pile of doo-doo.
Yeah. All right. I did get a Super Chow
cool.
before we continue, because it's kind of a big one. Telemnar gave us $20. Thank you, Telemnar. And he says, it is certainly true that fathers being involved with their daughters causes them to be a lot less spoiled. Perhaps also because single mother households sometimes function on the basis of the mother manipulating men or the state to do things for her, but those men are not the father, and the child knows this. So the only thing the child learns, since children particularly tend to model parents and people known long term, is manipulativeness, or how to manipulate. people. Yeah, that's probably true. Thank you, Telenar, for that.
Yes. I mean, completely absent from all of this conversation is the pleasure one can get, an adult can get in partnership with another adult, building something, providing for each other, being each other's support system. She doesn't seem to acknowledge that there is something to be gained from that. For example, purpose, a sense of purpose, a sense of camaraderie, a sense of somebody being there for somebody. There is emotional value in that, and it's completely absent her analysis. You see what I'm saying? It's like a lot of adult virtues are completely absent in her analysis of reality. She comes across as a child. And the funny thing is that, okay, you know what? I will leave that there. She comes across as a child. I have a deeper analysis about all of this because I want to get more into her words as opposed to just putting words in her mouth or doing analysis.
Yeah, let's do that. I'm going to play it from the 30 seconds. Let's do it.
And as we wait for a few more people to get in, let's start the discussion off. Pickmeisha picks the bottom of the barrel men. Now, the reason why I chose to discuss this is because lately, a lot of people, especially pickmeishas, have been trying to make a little bit of, argument that, they need to pay for this and they need to pay for that. And
I just want to point out something out. A lot of really dumb thinking makes these kind of extreme examples. So you're a pickmeisha and you pay for everything and you do everything. Well, that's not really the way most relationships fall out. Usually what happens is that a woman will pay a certain amount of the bills, a man will pay a certain amount of the bills. Maybe the woman pays more of the bills, the man does more of the home stuff, maybe does mechanical work that could be worth tens of thousands of dollars, whatever. It's a big a back and forth in a relationship between adults. What she's doing is she's framing only two types of relationships, the pickmeisha and the spoilt girly. And everything that isn't a spoilt girly, which is essentially a woman being taken care of like an infant, is a woman being a pickmeisha. So anything that isn't a woman, anything that is a woman being an adult, and even doing something as insane and incomprehensible as wanting to have someone else's back. You know what? I think that this is simply, I had a dad, and my dad taught me to rely on myself. So I sort of enjoy doing that because it's something that my dad taught me. I mean, it's really funny because when I look at my life and I think about all of the things that I did with my dad, a lot of them have become my most cherished things that I do really well. Like, I would do creative things, artistic things with my dad. And so, in my adulthood, art is something that I take a lot of value from. I would do storytelling with my dad. In my adulthood, that's something I take a lot of value from. But my father taught me to be self-reliant, to be able to criticize myself and to improve, and how to break improvement down into steps that you can take. And that generates a sense of self-worth in self-reliance. And I can say that from now till the cows come home. But if these women did not have a dad that did that for them, or at least was there while they were trying, so they had some kind of sense that even if there was a distant protector, I don't know if they can ever relate to what I'm saying. You have all of your pre-trash that you think, oh, I'm going to get a man who provides for me, and he's going to be able to buy all of my desires, which honestly, looking at her side table is just a bunch of pre-trash. And then you have the joy of doing for yourself, and even of knowing that you help others. But you don't seem to have access to that other part unless you've had a dad or someone like that to really cultivate self-reliance in you. And it's like we're just going to speak two different languages is what I'm getting at. Like, I mean, I can say to her, no, actually there's a great deal of pleasure and self-fulfillment and sense of value to harvesting eggs and putting them in your egg apron, to raising kids, to making a painting, writing a book, having even just a simple job like being a dental hygienist, but building a house with someone, building a home with someone, being a partner, having their back. There's value in these expressions of self-reliance. But she's probably just I'll pick Misha. It's basically what's coming out of my mouth. I can imagine she's hearing it like those you remember the Peanuts, the adults, they go,
oh yeah, womp 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 womp. Yeah.
Pick Misha, womp womp, pick Misha, womp 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 womp, sprinkle sprinkle, pick Misha, womp 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 womp. Like that, everything I'm saying is just bouncing right off. And that's actually terrifyingly sad.
It's true.
All right.
What's the next time code?
I'll just finish this one because this.
Oh, there's more? Okay.
Yeah. Honestly, she probably gets most of her points out at the beginning, and then everything is just sniggering and responding to people.
No.
Are you okay? Snickering and responding to people.
No, it's not that. It's just this person that we're responding to.
Mm.
Okay, let's play some more.
Yep.
For women to pay when they're going out on dates or when they're living with a grown, able-bodied man. And then the only thing that I noticed, now I'm not trying to be arrogant. It's just
okay. Can I say something about this? This is what I've seen. This only takes place when the man is significantly more attractive than the woman. Okay. All right. If you want to date out of your league to that degree, you pay to play. The end. This is not something that happens with just regular people. What happens there is, again, they're just two people trying to get by, right? Of course.
Do you think that the female dating strategy women are, in fact, trying to min-max their chances of getting like the highest value man? So they know they're batting out of their league, but that's why they're like employing all of these tactics.
Honestly, I'm sure that that's what they think they're doing, but I don't think that that's what's happening in reality. First of all, I don't think any of this shit, like trying to encourage women not to be pickmeishas or to view their personal self-reliance with suspicion and contempt. I don't think that's going to result in any of these women gaining the attention of a significantly wealthy man. I think that remains what it is. There are incredibly beautiful women. There are incredibly beautiful women who are very driven, or just are charming. They know how to make people feel good. They have exceptional taste. And those women will inevitably find extremely wealthy men. Or there will be men who get wealth through particular means, and they'll have interest in the women who have an interest in those means. I mean, that's just the way it's going to be. There's always going to be women who get something more, right? And I don't think that this changes that at all. Like, beautiful women will always get rich men. Okay? That's just the way it is. And no matter how much you say to all your girlfriends, oh, we're all 10s, we all deserve rich men, it's just not going to change that. All that's going to change is that you are going to overlook the men in your league who could make your life better. And if you are an actual adult, you'll also have the opportunity to make his life better. So there'll be a win-win, and you will be happier as a result. So all this does is just leave a lot of lonely women. And I don't think it's made anyone. Okay, my opinion here is this. She is like a stockbroker who is bankrupt because she says she has this strategy. She has not achieved what she says she'll get from the strategy. And the reason why I say that is because her entire setup indicates she does not have a rich man's money to spend. Okay. Now, a little bit of backstory on me. For certain reasons, I have been in richer circles. It's not something that I'm interested in, but I know what rich men's money looks like. That ain't it. That is the bargain bin for a Bath and Beyond box star. And not only does she obviously not have a rich man's money to spend, she doesn't have the taste that would a rich man would, if a rich man's going to get a woman, he may want a woman with the taste to spend his money. She doesn't have it. She hasn't even cultivated her taste. She has black and white. That is, I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm afraid to make any kind of bold, tasteful decisions. Like that's it. Like she hasn't cultivated her taste. She doesn't have a taste for fine things. What the hell would she do if a rich man plopped into this woman's lap? And this is I would say this about Hannah Cox and Byrony and all of the other spoilt girlies. What would you do? What would you even spend his money on? Like a mountain of shit from Bed Bath and Beyond? Like you don't even
probably
have the
junk,
taste.
yeah.
Yeah, like you don't even have the taste to do anything with the rich man's money. Like, where are your like 200 thread count silk rugs? Where are your really expensive designer kerchiefs? Where is your art? Like, Jesus, that completely empty wall there. Where's the art? Like, where is the originality? Where is the personal expression? Like, what are you going to do with that amount of money? Buy a Bed Bath and Beyond and live in it? Like, good Lord. Anyway, but what I mean by this is that she is a stockbroker who is broke, bankrupt, and multiply bankrupt, who's saying, hey, listen to my tips and I'll make you a lot of money. No, listen to her tips and you're going to be surrounded by pre-trash from a box store. Right? The nicest thing in is maybe the headboard, but that's a dime a dozen too. It's not original. It's not handcrafted. Nothing in that room is handcrafted. It's all purchased from a department store or a box store. And I can tell because I've seen the genuine article. In fact, that isn't even close. Right? So this woman is selling a lifestyle that she herself has no access to. Hell, she doesn't even have AC. She's got a fan. Like I've managed to get AC. Like like an actual AC unit. Like I'm doing better than her. At least maybe my priorities are higher.
You got AC in Kelvington? Does it get that hot?
Yes, it's 30 degrees out now.
Oh yeah, that's pretty warm.
Yeah, and it can sustain that for days. So it can get very hot. And before we got like AC, I mean, we didn't get top of the line. We had to use like fans and just put them out the window. It's not the best option. But my ultimate point is, for somebody who's saying that, oh, you try my method and you won't want for nothing, she's wanting for a lot. So, maybe listen to this and again, three quarters of a million subscribers. She can't be selling a lifestyle she isn't living. She can't, like, you look at that and it's patently obvious that if you follow her procedure, you're going to follow her into middle class. Congratulations. You're still going to have to work. You're still going to probably have to do chores around the house. And you'll be lucky. So she has achieved the heights of middle class. Congratulations with her theories and her philosophy. That's what these women are watching. Right?
Well, not a lot of people get into the middle class these days, so I guess that is something.
That is something. Maybe Bed Bath and Beyond tchotchkes are something. And I don't mean this from a position of, hey, having those things are bad or wrong. What I mean is she's presenting herself as something she isn't. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
Okay. All right. She's presenting herself as something she isn't. The women who are watching this need to know this woman hasn't achieved squat with her theories. Right? She does not look like she has the money. She's spending a rich man's money. Right? So what is it that she's selling?
Copium to women. Well, what I was going to say, she's selling copium. Yeah. Yep.
Copium. So that's what you asked me. Do you think this has improved anything? No, absolutely not. I don't think this method has gotten anyone squat. So the spoiled girly, the female dating strategy, all it's done is given women a means to cope with their own failures.
And considering something else, considering that the average Western woman is tens of thousands of dollars in college debt. I think that essentially attaching yourself to a man who is well off, like some kind of stomach worm, is probably a good way to get that debt taken away. And I would gather, because women are graduating at higher rates than men, and it's all like there's like papers and articles written, women are better educated, women are going more from getting degrees, etc. Mm-hmm. But what it doesn't say is that they're also in a lot more debt. And it's because they jumped on this opportunity to get a degree that they're not using, and they don't want to because they were trying to have their cake and eat it too, because they were trying to girl boss or whatever. So they're like, okay, we need to come up with a strategy to pay off all this debt and still live a comfortable, luxurious lifestyle. Female dating strategy. I think that part of it is because they are unable to manage their money, not just with college debt, but with credit card debt and general like loans, the car, the house, whatever. So they're a mess. They're a hot mess financially, and they're hoping men will bail them out, but they can't act like they need them. So they pull this kind of like, what do you call it? It's like a psyop on men and on women who dare question them, hence the pickmeisha thing. So It's like women who want to work with men are generally, even if they are also in debt, they want to work as a team to help alleviate it. And they're also going to be more understanding if the man is also in debt himself, as an example, right? So they're more likely to be a team, but these women, they think that what happened to them was not deserved, so they're unfairly saddled or weighed by this debt, and this must be the fault of the patriarchy because they are feminists, and so they got to get men to essentially pay reparations and pay off their debt. So and that is kind of what it is. Like feminists don't use the word reparations, but that's what they're demanding from men in the form of men paying for everything. So just speculation, but I imagine that this is also a factor with women. So with women like this, like how else are you going to get your bills paid?
Yeah. Well, and finally, this is just, I would say that this is a woman who is not living the lifestyle she says that her strategies will provide for her. And she's selling this to other women, and she's getting money for it too. And, sure, if you have a service that people appreciate, fine. But her service, it cannot possibly be, if you follow my procedure, you'll get a man. No, she hasn't. Right? She
probably hasn't.
No, she hasn't.
She claims though some things, but I'll get to that.
Well, she may claim what she wants, but her furniture suggests otherwise. Her choice of Trotskys suggests otherwise. Her complete lack of art suggests otherwise. Like once you get
judging.
into is it?
I want to say something about the fans real quick. We have AC, but I also have a fan. I don't know if she's like this, but I have to have my fan on. It helps me sleep. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay. So
just the sound of the fan. I'll have it on the lowest setting, and I'll have it just to move air around the room. It's not hot in there, but it helps me sleep. If I don't know, let me know if you guys also use fans to help you sleep.
I mean, if there was a man who said, "Yeah, I'm a really really well off stockbroker. I've made tons and tons of money. I've made throwaway money," and they live in their mother's basement, is it really judgy to say, "Hey, something's not adding up"?
No, I mean a little bit, but it's okay. You're entitled. These women are asking for judgment. It's the one thing that they work. Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's the one thing they work hardest to avoid. Like I had said in the past, like it seems that for a lot of, let's say, not inner circle feminists, but like, coffee house feminists, like normie feminists, their primary goal for them, to use feminism is for them to avoid judgment. So that's why they love like, victim blaming, slut shaming, these kinds of like things. Oh, there's a dog outside, so JoJo's having a concern. I don't know if you guys can hear him barking.
I can hear him. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that it's all about avoiding judgment with a lot of women.
Right, fine.
And feminism is a good way. So you should just pass judgment. Just be judgmental.
I pass judgment. I'll be judgmental.
Okay.
Look, you are saying that you are something you aren't. You're being deceptive, right? And honestly, she repeats this throughout her condemnation of pickmieshas and her how do you get men to provide for you? Well, a lot of it is lying. Like, so this woman is a verified con artist. And I say what you will about Andrew Tate relative to women like this. At least he lived the life he said he did, as far as I can tell. Right? He did become a millionaire. Like, my judgment is that she does not have access to a rich man's money at all.
Yep.
She's not living a bad life. And I'm not saying that people who buy Trotskys from like Bed Bath and Beyond are bad people, but that isn't what it would look like, what her room would look like if she had a rich man's money to spend. And she is saying that her method will get you a rich man. Bullshit. Something else. She's selling something else. And I'm pretty sure that something else is cope. And I mean, you know what? I'm just going to get out with it. All right. There was a study, and I think I linked it somewhere, where women would choose to refuse $20 if they knew someone else was getting 50, whereas men would just take the $20. So they would just take a benefit if they got it. They wouldn't be as concerned that everything was fair. You know what I mean? So I don't know. A researcher just goes out and there's two women sitting there. He hands one 50 and the other 20, and a woman will just walk away from the 20 if they see that. You know, a man was much more likely to just take it because it's a benefit and it doesn't matter what the other guy got. Okay. And which is probably why men are better at meritocracies too, to be honest.
That's interesting. Yeah. That's interesting, but not surprising.
But what's happening here is that women are foregoing a decent guy in their league because they see other women getting a man that is better, or they think is better. Right? So they see men or women getting that top 1% and they think they're entitled to it. So they are refusing anything less than that, even though it's completely out of their league. Right? They think it's unfair, and it's probably because of all this. Everybody's a 10. It's bullshit. You're not all 10s. You're not all going to get a 10. Right? So they think these women are unfairly getting a man out of their league. So they are refusing men that they think are below them, who are actually probably above them slightly. Let's face it.
Oh yeah.
And they need to cope with that. And the older they get, the more cope they need, because they ruin their life out of resentment, and not even resentment towards men, resentment towards other women who are beautiful, who are fashionable, who have good taste, who catch the eye of a rich man. And believe me, if a woman wants to catch the eye of a rich man, here's some free advice. Have good taste and be able to present yourself in a way that is glamorous and also tasteful and presents personality, right? Okay. Make a rich man, if a rich man wants a woman who spend his money, he wants a woman who spend his money well. And I'm just saying that. And this is not here. This is not presenting anything except, and it just really, it annoys me that the taste is so banal. Like black and white. Are you afraid of color? I guess only black and white exists. There is no other color. Okay, let's keep going.
All right. I'll just play in this same area. Okay.
Yeah. The hell does that mean?
Let me repeat this. A lot of the women who are being pickmeishas out there are not leveled up and would rather pay to be with a man than to just level themselves up. Literally. That's literally what it is.
And how do you level yourself up? Do you just sit in your shrine and wish? Like you're all perfect 10s, right? And I'm
I think
looking
leveling
at your chat.
up. I think leveling up just means like raising your standards, because there's not going to be anything about, changing your habits, changing your behavior, working on yourself, working on your attitude. I don't know,
Yeah.
whatever, right? Being better with your money, like basically being someone
Well,
who's
man does all that,
going.
right?
Well, yeah, of course. But I think what leveling up means is essentially just having higher standards and not settling for less than whatever those standards are. Which is probably just girl math stuff. Like there's no like objective number. There's no like sane dollar amount when women are out here asking for $250,000 a year and think it's normal. So what does it mean? I think it just means having really high standards.
Yeah.
Shooting for the moon.
Yeah, you're right. You're probably right.
I mean, let me know if I'm wrong. I don't go on female dating strategy. I don't know, but I'm guessing
I think you're right.
It's got nothing to do with self-development or self-work. So
yeah, I mean, I don't think they're learning to meditate or learning to paint something or learning music, or I think you're right. They were just learning to be more judgmental, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, just being like a picky, I guess. So
yeah.
All right, more?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Masculine, because you are too lazy to put all of that effort and money into yourself, to level yourself up to the degree where you don't have to beg a man to be with you by offering to pay. Okay.
What? I mean, honestly, this really sounds like a rare instance, like that a woman will pay for everything for a man, and it's probably a situation where she just is significantly less attractive than him, and there's nothing that she can do to level up to make that wrong.
Either that, or she's being like, I don't know, egalitarian, like you might see, or there could also be, I think there could also be cases where women would rather pay because they don't want to feel as though they owe the man anything. So it's sort of like, well, if I pay, then it's on my terms and I can just leave if I'm uncomfortable or whatever. I mean, I don't think that's common. I think most women today just expect men to pay for everything. Well, but I'm just trying to imagine a scenario where they would offer.
There's more houses today where women make more. So there might be that kind of situation, but I don't think that in those households, I mean, I think probably that just came about because it's harder for men to make money in this world because we've made it that way. We've said that is what we are going to do. We're going to make it harder for men to make money and easier for women to make money. We've artificially decreased men's salaries and increased women's. And we said we were going to do that, and we did it. So don't give me this bullshit. Like, that's what we aimed for, and we did it. So, now there are more households in which women make more money.
Well, we also had to convince women that they were worth the extra money and that men were not worth, like they're worth, the money that we're deducting, essentially. So yes. Women are getting this extra money that there is artificially increased, but they actually believe that not only they deserve that, but that they deserve more, because remember, we're also telling them that they're not paid as much as men.
Yeah.
And so that, you get like these like co-stars that make $4 million on a project, and they complain that the main star, who's a man, gets $12 million. And they're like, why do you get so much? It's like, yeah, because he's the star and he's the reason why people went to watch the movie. But they don't care because even a millionaire is complaining about not getting enough money. So where does that come from? I think that it's a combination of, like you said, the artificial inflating of women's worth in terms of their monetary value and the deflating of men's worth, coupled with the gaslighting that tells women that despite the fact they're making more money, they deserve even more because men somehow have more. So
yeah, yeah. Okay, let's keep going.
Okay.
That's the only way they think they can get a man. That's not true. It's not true. It's the only way you can get the type of man that will settle for you temporarily because you pay. And
I think someone's talking out of personal experience.
Yeah, I feel like I'm hearing something awfully specific Do you want to play more, or do you want to jump to another time code?
No, play more, because this is, like I said, she does most of her work on pickmieshas at the beginning.
I see. Okay.
Understand, because some women can't see it until you paint a picture. If you are paying and you live in a house with a grown, able-bodied man, and you are paying for him, you are offering him things, you are outdoing him when it comes to courting or showing your affections and all this kind of stuff. You're outdoing him in every way. It means you're working to keep him as your man because you can't have him any other way, which is literally paying for a grown man. So if that's what y'all are doing, don't try to glamorize that. It's not cute. You ain't even cute. Sprinkle, sprinkle.
No, it's only cute when men do that for women.
I can't believe. Well, I can believe it. I was gonna say I can't believe she has this many followers, but yeah, I mean, women are cooked, guys. Women are cooked. I don't know what to do. I mean, like I was talking to Lindsay about it this morning, and she's like, I don't know, like what to do about women. Like we're just like what, like none, like this is like I don't know. Like it's gonna take some serious suffering or desperation for women to be like, you know what, men are we kind of need them.
Yeah. Well, it may take that. I have my own ideas, but even the red pill bros don't do crap like this.
No.
They want a reciprocal relationship, not one in which the woman pays and does all the housework and everything. I mean, that's a situation where you are finding a man who is probably a bit of a mooch, shall we say. And yeah, they exist, but that isn't the red pill philosophy. They want a reciprocal relationship. This is entirely one-sided. And that's the difference. Okay? All right, let's keep going. And I don't even agree with red pill bros often. I mean, I've been blocked by some, so.
That's true. All right.
You were 19, you refused to date in a car. He said, I'm too much. Okay. Well, on to the next. Sprinkle, sprinkle. I mean, if you can't meet the standards, then tell them to get out the way. So, yes, that's what I'm trying to say. Pickmieshas will settle for the worst men, then complain about them later. But you pay. Because you didn't care about yourself. You only cared about having a man that didn't even want you. So I have to spell this out for women because they don't get it. They're just not getting it. Somebody didn't teach them. So if you are paying to be with a man and you are a pickmeisha, remember that when they leave you, and don't ask why, because let me tell you why. You paid for them and now they're done with you. They don't want you no more because they never wanted you in the first place.
Okay, so reversing this for a second. She thinks that men should pay for women. That's literally her philosophy. So when men have her philosophy, but towards women, that means that they aren't valuing the women. They don't really want to be with them. But that doesn't work in reverse. Like if you are after a man as a provider and not a man, do you really want him? Question mark. Okay, keep going.
All right.
And a lot of women feel like because you invest in a man and that you paid for a man and that you cooked and cleaned and washed his dirty drawers, that he's going to stay with you. No, ma'am. That means he's going to get far away from you because you're not the type of woman that he wants, because he made you do all those things and didn't even want you, but allowed you to put yourself through all of that turmoil, all of that work, all of that paying of bills for dates, gifts, and all that stuff. He let you do that and never offered to do anything more. He never.
Does this really happen? Are they just making shit up?
No, I mean, I'm sure that there are men that are like that in the world.
But this must be tiny minority.
Yeah, but again, like that. Well, yes, I bet it is. But then that begs the question: on what basis or what standards are women getting with men who, for whatever reason, according to her, which again, we have to take this with a grain of salt because we don't know how honest she's being, but men who are essentially in the same infant class that she wants to be in. Because it's like, there are dudes that will get involved with a girl who makes more than them and like use them for that. As there are women who will do that to men. So, well,
but apparently the number of women who will do that to men is quite significant. Even the red.
Oh, for sure. I'm not even like claiming that that's not the case. But what I'm saying is that if I believe that it is a lot fewer men that would do that, but I do believe they exist. I mean, they have to, right? But then what you have to ask is, though, if it's a much smaller percentage of men that would do that to women, and yet women are constantly complaining about men that do that to them, then that means that they are picking those men that do that. And why are they picking them? And this is like what I'm saying. Like, she's saying the pickmeishas want to be picked, but no, they're doing the selecting. They are selecting men that are not good for them, and it's not working out because they think they can change them in some way, and they end up getting used. Like, the single mother problem, especially in the Black population, cannot be understated. And it is, in fact, a product of women being reckless or careless with their reproductive capacity, let's say. They're messing around with dudes that are probably, they have some qualities they like, you know, maybe they're bad boys, maybe they're thugs, whatever, and they find that sexually attractive, but they're not responsible adults. So they get pregnant by these dudes, and then these dudes run off, and the women are left holding the baby or whatever. Fortunately, the state comes in and helps them out. But the point is that they will complain about those men, but there are probably plenty of decent men who are not meeting their standards in other areas. So it's like they're making sexual choices for the wrong reasons, and they're getting involved with the wrong kinds of men. I mean, like, it is what it is. And I think when she says all of these men out here ain't nothing, is because the men that you're looking at, the ones that you find attractive, don't have all of the qualities that you really should be looking for, because you're looking at the wrong ones. You're looking at how much money they have. You're looking at how you know, like how much they can spend on you, or pretend to have, or even, but maybe they have other bad qualities. Maybe they're not good fathers. I mean, like, this is a problem that has, so that's what I'm saying, is that they're identifying and talking about a group of men that they choose to notice, and that becomes all men. That's why they make these generalizations.
Yes.
Because plenty of the decent men are just too average for them.
Yeah, and I honestly, I'm going to go a bit deeper with it too. They are doing what feminists do, which is framing, and actually, you know, I would say some traditionalists do this too. They are framing criminal men as representative of all men. And she is framing these men who are moochers as representative of all men in the day. Well, if you are not a woman who demands spoilt girly treatment, if you're not high value, then you're going to end up with a moocher. And what's interesting to me is that this is very black and white thinking, which goes with the black and white decor, which I still think is cowardly. But it excuses certain behavior, because any relationship is give and take. Otherwise, it's not a relationship, right? And what they want is not a relationship. What they want is the kind of dependency an infant has for its mother or for its father. That's the kind of relationship that they want. I don't even know if it qualifies as a relationship. But a real adult relationship requires give and take. By saying that any give that you do, you don't have to do as a woman, they're basically opting out of all the risk of a relationship. So not only do they get to indulge in this kind of, it's not worth it. You know, like that $20 isn't worth it. If I don't get the $50, I'm not taking the $20. And by the way, that $20 isn't even worth it, because taking the $20 requires some effort. Like, being in a relationship with a normal man requires some effort, like all relationships require effort. So they can turn their nose up at it, and they don't have to gain the courage to take a risk in a relationship. All relationships are risks as well. You have to open up your heart. You have to be vulnerable. You have to face mortality if you are actually making a real commitment. They don't want to do any of that. They want to turn their nose up at that $20 bill, and they want to excuse their own failures in life. Like their own failure to become an adult by pretending that it's black and white is what I'm saying. Any give that I have to do means he's a moocher. Even if it's like doing the bare minimum of not making his life a living hell. He's a moocher. If he can't do everything for me, he's a moocher. You see what I'm saying? It's a justification for why you get to fail in life, because the success isn't worth it.
Yep. It's a good point.
Okay.
All right. Play some more.
Once we get through this, like the time codes are going to be pretty thin. I mean, maybe we'll do your section on another day, perhaps.
That's fine by me.
Yeah. That's what
all right. Yeah. That's fine by me. Okay, let's play.
Because he didn't improve your life in any way except for being that placeholder that you were temporarily paying for. Okay, so y'all have to stop picking the bottom of the barrel men to spend your money on, pickmeisha.
Well, why don't you just like here's the thing? Okay, black again, artificial extreme.
Wait. If those are bottom of the barrel men, how can they like have the option to not like these women and not want to be with them? Doesn't that mean that those men know they can do better? Doesn't that mean that those men are not bottom of the barrel and maybe those women have a little bit of work to do? Just the idea that she's like, well, you're going after bottom of the barrel men that don't want you. Well, whoa. Well, what? Wait a minute. Like, what do they have? Down syndrome? You have like a bunch of like, Down syndrome, like quadriplegic amputees turning women down. They're like, I can do better. Like what I mean, because she's saying they're bottom of the barrel. Like, and I'm not, I'm not crapping on guys with Down syndrome. I think they're living their best life. But I'm saying that this thing that she's claiming doesn't make sense, because if those men had no other options,
they couldn't demand
why would
money.
they turn? They couldn't make demands. They'd just be like, you'll do. I mean, a lot of people end up doing that. Most people probably end up doing that.
Yeah,
this is good.
Yeah, and it's fine. Settling is when life begins, and if you're a person who sees themselves more in terms of their own independence and that kind of thing and self-reliance, then it's not really settling at all. It's just digging in and getting it done, starting to get it done. But the thing I wanted to point out is she's saying that these men can demand money for their services, right? Okay. So wouldn't that make them valuable?
Right. Doesn't that mean they're worth something?
Yeah, because what she's saying, high value men are men who can't demand money for their services from women, but instead have to sweeten the deal by offering money. So it's really funny, because in her analysis, a man who can go into let's say a bar and pick up a chick just through his charm is less valuable than a man who has to pay a prostitute. Really? Does that even make sense? Because I think part of this is she's actually fighting with herself, because she knows intrinsically that the men that she's defined and is going after are not high value. If they have to pay for her time, then they don't value their own time. Right? Yep. So she must realize that on some subconscious level, and she's dissatisfied with it. And then she's, anyway, I'm just floating that out there, because I think a lot of this is women projecting their own bullshit onto men. Yeah. Their own toxic competition with other women, their own willingness to sabotage other women's prospects. I mean, I think this woman, she's actually actively harmful to her audience, because she's giving them excuses to live a life that will result in greater misery, rather than pointing out that this is nonsense. This is a nonsense dichotomy. Most people just help each other get by, and there's a lot of value in having somebody that just helps you get by. And she's saying, well, if you aren't able to get a man who does everything for you, then your life is basically not worth living. This is why I titled it what I did, that women who can't get the best deserve nothing. That's what her philosophy is. And ironically, that is the philosophy she's actually living, in my opinion, because she doesn't deserve the best. She is not a woman who is going to attract a man who makes millions of dollars a year, much less billions. She's just not. I have seen, unless you actually worked with a guy, lived while he was coming up the ranks, you know what I mean? Like, unless you were supporting him, doing those domestic tasks or whatever, or financially support, you're not going to end up with that man. You're not going to end up out of the gate with a millionaire. She is not a woman who will get that. She is not a woman who has gotten that. And honestly, she's on the other side of the age range for getting it. I'm just being completely fucking honest. I don't know. I guess that's judgmental. But she doesn't have the demeanor that would attract men like that. You've really got to put a lid on the snickering, right? Snickering, right? She doesn't have a demeanor that would attract that. She doesn't have taste that would attract that, right? She does not have, I don't know. She's not, and the big thing is she's not attractive enough. She's not physically attractive enough, and she's on the wrong end of 30. Because I'm pretty sure she's pushing 40.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I can see some gray in her hair.
Yeah, I mean, I got gray too, but I don't lie about it. I'm not trying to present myself.
Yeah, no, yeah, of course.
So if she's past 40, right, and she hasn't landed her rich dude, her strategy is worthless for doing that, right? So she's not a woman who's going to get that, and that nothing is going to change that, right? Where was I going with this? So what she's actually doing is she's coping. She's coping with her failure, and she's spreading the misery around. And the funny thing is that when she talks about a pickmeisha as being a failure, because the pickmeishas want a man, they don't want a provider. And of course, pickmeishas get a man because they want a man, which is honestly the best way to approach wanting to be in a relationship with a man. You want the man, okay? The providership is just, it's helpful.
Yeah.
But you should want the person, because at the end of the day, that's what gives your life meaning, are the people in it. Anyway, so her idea that a pickmeisha wants the man and a spoiled girly wants the provider, right? Well, here's the thing. And the pickmeisha is a loser, right? She's a loser. Even though by her own metric, the pickmeisha has won. She wants a man. She's got a man. These women have lost. They don't have a provider. Like if they were watching this, they wouldn't, like, I guarantee the women watching this don't have what they want. Why would they be watching it if they did? So you guys are losers. You're not just losers based on the pickmeisha's metric, which is getting a man. You're losers based on your own metric, which is getting a provider. So you're not just losers based on your own metric. Sorry, I should have said it this way, which is getting a provider. You're also losers based on the pickmeisha metric, which is just getting a man, right? And now you are looking at the pickmeisha and saying, oh, you're the biggest loser. I'm sorry. There was a parable about this. It's called the sour grapes, the fox and the grapes.
Yeah.
You are massive losers. And you are looking at a woman who has decided on her own, apparently decided on her own win condition and has achieved it as a loser. Why? Because of sour grapes, because of your resentment. Okay? And that resentment is what is going to lead you to be miserable. Okay. Why? Right. Why? $750,000. Why? Why?
I don't know. All right, shall I?
I mean, it's not like her production value is great. Like,
I think she's telling women what they want to hear.
Well, these women anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Your failures are because there was nothing worth having a success. The successes weren't worth it.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's play some more.
Yeah.
Okay. Shera is the truth. I take her advice and went to the rich side of town. You joined pickleball, and now I'm out with a provider rich man in town. I have dinner next week, networking, get the rich town. Yes, Sierra, sprinkle girls out there hitting some pickleballs today.
Okay.
What?
Yeah, she's not really. Pickleball? What the hell is pickleball?
Pickleball is, I don't know, but it's classy. Apparently. I got a Rumble rant I've got to read out. I'm going to read it really quick. Sure. Nova fan 21. gave us $1 and said, "Women, I don't understand why my husband is upset that I told him I was willing to marry him and not just use him for sex like I did with my FWBs." End quote. Thank you. There was a Super Chow as well. But do you want me to read that one?
Sure, go ahead.
All right. The internet ethnologist gave us $10 and says, "The snigger occupies a similar niche to the SJew, such that they have a symbiotic relationship. Gibbs for riots, both cooperatively parasitic. Isn't nature beautiful?" Thank you for that commentary and probably getting us banned from YouTube. Okay. So
who the heck? I think that's just intended to be. Yeah, it's a troll. I know that person.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to destroy us, but it's okay.
Yeah, they're trying to destroy us with their nonsense. But yeah, that's an intentional troll. I'm looking through this. Let me see if we would just move to the next one. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. It's basically a bunch of women who are losing based on their own metric, looking at women who are winning based on theirs and saying, sour grapes.
Or they're cherry picking the few failures, like if a woman does like settle and then it turns out to not work out, and then they cherry pick that and they say this is an example of why you can't do things this way. But the truth is that there's no avoiding the struggles with relationships. Like you're just gonna fumble and then you're gonna get them wrong. Yeah, you just gotta like pick yourself up. What is the what was her name? Aaliyah? I don't know. Pick yourself up and try again. Dust yourself off and try again. Remember, she died too young, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, it's so tragic." And they put her next to Tupac and Biggie. Of course, I know you know, Allison. You're from these streets. You know these streets. Don't try to fake.
I know weird things, but not that. I'm from a weirder place than that. Anyway, let's keep going here.
You're gonna play from here or jump to another time code?
Go to 7:30. We'll start there.
All right, 7:30. I gotta find it. It's a little okay.
Faces the sad reality when a woman doesn't want to do any of those things because she's not supposed to, unless she chooses to, for a provider man. See, y'all are taking these men and emasculating them, and then putting them back out into the world. And they're walking around in their soft boy era because pickmeishas took care of them.
Okay, wait. All right, so this is
drizzle in the soft boy era. Where you at, soft boys?
All right, so she's completely contradicting herself, right? She wants it two ways, because later on when she talks about pickmeishas, which I won't be able to find the time code, so I'm not even going to bother. She talks about how pickmeishas are taking care of these men while they get themselves together so that they can become providers for women like her. So she's trying to have it both ways. So pickmeishas are destroying these men, but also making these men into something desirable at the same time. And the reason why she wants to do that is because she simultaneously wants to say, don't be a pickmeisha, and also shame pickmeishas for ruining men and making it so that, I don't know, that we're standing in the way of the manifesting vibes, you know what I mean? We're ruining the vibe of the manifestation. So we're preventing them from getting their man, but also that she is better, more desirable than a pickmeisha. You see what I'm saying? So let me frame it again. Pickmeisha is simultaneously taking care of men while they get on their feet and become the provider that these women desire, and also destroying those men and preventing them from becoming the provider that these women desire. You will see that if you listen to this whole thing. Lots of self-contradictions from this woman. Which is it? Because it can't be both. And the answer is, it's whatever is emotionally convenient in the moment. Well, congratulations. Your emotions, when they hit reality, are like a slug hitting a tire of a car going 60 miles an hour. Like it just, and you will find that out. You can listen to me and pickmeishas cannot be both. They cannot be ruining men and making them better so that they go get better women, right? It's not possible. Anyway, that was one of the things that really annoyed me about her.
Feelings don't care about your facts, Allison. That's what she would say. I got a Super Chow from Xeranx, $5, and he says, "This is why I've criticized the high value talking point. It's focused on the modern woman's materialistic view of value. The irony is what makes one high value exists where one is poor or whether one is poor or rich. The difference between Ahab and Naboth from the Bible is a key thing, even though I think Naboth is at the time equivalent to what middle class is today. Sprinkle Sprinkle is encouraging women to continue being blinded by things rather than a humble man." Thank you, Xeranx. It's true. And also, I wanted to point out, I accidentally credited Nova Fan for that Rumble rant. I was supposed to credit OIC. I'm not. That was my bad on that, and I'm sorry. So, OIC, I see you, and I'm sorry that I read it. I credited the wrong person. I'm just used to Nova Fan sending the Rumble rants a lot. So, anyway, what should I play now?
Okay. Let me see if there's anything worth what else I had in here, because I put my little notes. Okay. Go to 1 hour, 5 minutes, and 30 seconds.
This is 1 hour, 5 minutes, and 22. Playing from here.
Provider mine, and we haven't even been in a date, and he's not rich. Okay. Young love. How long is it gonna take y'all to get what y'all really need? You know, how long are you gonna date him before you can literally live the life that you want?
Okay, so this is her response to a comment. We don't have to read it, but this was her response to a woman who wrote in, and I believe the man was actually had a lot of potential, like he was an engineer or going through engineering school, and she's basically saying, you know, don't wait, just get a man who already is ready. I'm like, don't listen to this woman. She's pushing 40, maybe older. And she is not, she doesn't look like she's spending a rich man's money. I'm sorry, none of that is indication. I don't think if she had the money, she would construct a set out of Best Buy Trotskys and prefab furniture that, you know, it looks higher end, but it's still, man, it's still like that stuff is factory manufactured. You can tell. Okay. So she doesn't look like she's spending a rich man's money. When she says, don't stick with a guy who has potential, this is what she says. So I'm going to point this out here. This girl who's going to this woman for advice, she's probably with a man who will end up making a significant amount of money. Like my mother was with my father when he was a surveyor, and he ended up, because he's a geophysicist and he does things that only like a few people in the world can do. He ended up, you know, at one point in his life making, you know, a significant amount of money. That was their business, but you know, and the point is that if she had listened to this woman's advice, or if this woman listens to this woman's advice, to SheraSeven's advice, she probably is going to lose out on actually gaining something significant going forward. And I honestly think that Shera isn't responding to this in a way that's genuinely like, she's like, oh yeah, I want to help you out. I think it's sour grapes, because Shera's not going to get, she's not getting a rich man at this point. She's not. Okay. And it sounds like she's really talking about her own mistakes, alleged mistakes, because honestly, let me be frank. If you actually are a woman who's willing to build a life with a man, he's not going to leave that if you're a decent person. Okay? So if you're willing to pay bills and you're willing to meet him halfway, it's unlikely he's going to leave you unless you are absolute raging cunt. So when Shera talks about all of this, she was left probably because she's a raging cunt, or he just can't handle the snicker. He can't handle Muttley. And could you imagine having sex with her and hearing that? I can't down. In the middle, he just couldn't handle it. All right. But at this point in time, she's not going to get, she's not, and this is her goal. Like if she was an older woman who just wanted a companion and that's what she got, she would be winning. Let's be very frank. I'm not saying that she's old and therefore not winning. I mean, I'm old. I don't feel like I'm not winning, but What I'm saying is, by her own metric, she has lost, and she ain't gonna win because she is not looking like she's spending a rich man's money. Do not listen to her. And then this woman calls in. I can't believe you guys are handing Shera the ability to do anything to your potential. I'm just trying to find the. We either go back a little bit or I find this in the transcript. Okay.
You want me to go back a little bit?
Okay. All right. So
30 seconds or.
Yeah, actually, I mean, she just goes on and on.
Yeah, it's a live stream, and
But
she's
there's never
a
any
woman.
point.
Just like a woman.
Okay, come on, Brian. I make points. I do make points.
No, you do.
Maybe I'm not a woman.
That makes you that. I think sometimes I wonder, like,
but I do go on long.
Yeah, that's true.
Just like a woman.
Okay, so but this guy's an engineer. All right, fine. This guy's an engineer, but they're going through school. So she has to wait a bit. And this is what she says to that. Let's play.
From here?
Yeah, from here.
I see it working. Like that's high school or college boyfriend, and like I'm like,
okay, now. Do you see what she just did there?
Yeah,
This
she
woman
wants to live a
probably
life
has
of
to wait,
luxury.
like- No, not just that. She has just fucked this woman over with her advice. And I don't think that this is genuine. I think she literally said this in order to fuck this woman over. You're dating an engineer. He's going through school. It's likely he's going to be making a shit ton of money at some point, or a good amount, a reasonable amount. Just stick with it. And she's saying, I wouldn't. Really? Really? So what would you do? Be in your possible 40s, still not spending
Be
rich
in my,
man's money?
I'm in my old maid era.
Yeah. You'll be in your old maid era, not spending a rich man's money? Like, this woman is going to be fine if she just sticks with it. And she's saying, no, well, I wouldn't do that. Well, I would choose to fail rather than choosing to wait. Like, get away from this woman. She's not your friend. She did that. She made this entire implication in order to ruin that woman's relationship. What I would say is just wait. You got it. You're with an engineer. It'll come. Okay? Stick with it. Be a partner. Karma is real. It's not manifestation, it's karma. You want a partner that's got your back, then have his back. Help him out. Make sure he feels like he's got a shoulder to, I don't know, not necessarily cry on, but at least a shoulder to lean on. Okay? And that's it. I don't want to do any more with the pickmeisha shit. Like, what she seems to be shaming, she was just shaming this woman. She was essentially saying, well, I wouldn't do it. I mean, it's good enough for you, I suppose, but you're probably a pretty plain Jane. You don't know your worth. That kind of shit.
Yeah.
Like, this woman does not like other women. She does not want other women to be happy. Maybe she thinks that if she manages to destroy the prospects of over 9,000 women, finally the Christian Grey that she's trying to manifest will appear in smoke in the middle of her bed or something. And this is not a good actor, right? Stay away. Don't listen to her. Genuinely improve yourself. Learn your actual worth. Develop a desire for self-reliance. And not just self-reliance. Because when you develop a desire for self-reliance, some of the pleasure of being in a relationship is being strong for someone else. That is a pleasure. It's a pleasure that men have. Why would you just want to leave it to men, ladies? Like, why should only men have the pleasure of being the supportive partner? The pleasure of knowing that they are self-reliant and they can lend that self-reliance to another person. Why should only men get that? Don't you feel a little left out? A little resentful that men are the only ones who get that pleasure? A little reverse psychology there. I don't know if it'll work though.
Yeah, somehow I don't think she's gonna be like, oh. Okay, you know that guy on Star Trek that was like, I don't know if it was Star Trek. It was it was like Star Trek: The Next Generation. It was like some black guy on the bridge, and he's looking into something, and he starts going crazy. It was a funny meme. Anyway, I got a Super Chow from Xeranx for $5, and he says, "How does a woman that likely needs work build with a man that's completed most of his transformation? She becomes the project, and any deviation away from her being the project means a relationship goes sour. The natural transition the man has to make to become her husband becomes rigid and brittle, and that messes him up as a father for the kids they have. Press F for the husband and resulting kids." Well, I mean, I think that there's always work to do on yourself. But I think that people have to look inward before they look at outward, and I don't think that we live in that time. I also suspect that this woman really finds a sense of importance from doing this channel. This channel.
No, this is actually really insightful.
No, I know it is. I don't disagree.
The way that these individuals are presenting their relationships, first of all, there's a reason why she doesn't have what she wants. And that's because her attitude towards relationships is dysfunctional. You can't expect someone else to, and she does say at one point, you don't want to need a man or whatever. But here's the other thing. You may not want to need a man, but what about being able to be there for a man? Do you want that? Or do you want to be able to afford someone else the benefits of your self-reliance? It's like watching the problem. Like I said, Brian, like there's an element where I'm like, I think that I'm just saying wah 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 pick me wah 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 grizzle grizzle, that kind of thing. Like it's just what I'm saying is just they don't comprehend it. And honest to God truth is that a relationship, the likelihood of you keeping a relationship is probably related to how much you actually care for and want to support the other party in it. Right? And the benefits you get from that relationship are like that. But and Lindsay said women are cooked, or you said women are cooked, and we don't know how to deal with it.
Well, we both kind of talked about it because I don't remember how we got on the subject, but it's like what would have to change would require a very brave step forward on the part of women. And there's no incentive for them to do that. Unless they think about the future to this degree. And they act on it.
I do have a thought on that. I think there is something that men can do to maybe encourage this process or quote unquote save women. Because I think what's happening is women are stuck in a really toxic kind of relationship with a super stimulus, which is cameras. Like they did this experiment, I think, with a fish, and the fish has like a courtship response to a particular pattern of stripes, and they exaggerated the pattern, and those fish would just be courting the pattern and ignoring actual fish, and then they'd all die out because they didn't breed. And people talk about how, pornography is like a super stimulus for men, or all the cosmetics that women wear are super stimulus. Like, I don't actually think that human men are dealing with super stimulus situation. I think they're coping with substitutes. I think women are dealing with a super stimulus situation. And I don't think anybody's really identified this. I swear to God, I did my an undergraduate thesis on this. I think I've told you about this. We talked about it. That women are in a courtship with cameras, and it really ramped up with social media. So what I mean by that is women are appealing to the camera, to this mechanical thing that produces these photos in as almost like a courtship with the camera. Instead of with men, they're courting a camera. And the problem is that when you court a machine, you don't really develop anything. Like when you court a machine, all it does is take pictures. What do you develop? The ability to view yourself in the third person and see yourself. Well, basically you learn to see yourself in the third person as an object. So women are in this super stimulus relationship with cameras. And normally they would be in a relationship with men and men's expectations of a human. Well, what are the expectations of the human? It's not just physical, it's emotional, it's psychological, it's in terms of your abilities. You know, in older times, it would be, how well can she spin and weave? How well can she cook? How well does she tend the goats? How well can she do medicine? You know, like stuff like that. You know, and also virtues, how good of a Christian she is, right? Not just beauty, but and then so women would develop these characteristics, these personal characteristics that would appeal to actual human beings. But the camera doesn't give a fuck about your virtues. Camera doesn't give a fuck about your abilities. It just gives a fuck about what you look like. So that's what women have become. Their sole means of valuation is looks, and then the opinions of others, likes. And that's the super stimulus that's destroying everything. And I've been thinking about this really hard. And what women really lack isn't the ability to buy more pre-trash from Bed Bath & Beyond, as you can see a lovely altar to in her video. It's purpose, it's meaning, you know, and throughout history, it's been men who have made meaning of things. Like there's this one video, or this one movie, it's called Adaptation. We watched it recently. It stars Nicolas Cage. He plays two different characters. He can act, you know. I see that smile.
No, I like Nicolas Cage. I'm not laughing at that. I was yawning a little bit, but it's weird because I just watched a film or a video about film that had clips from Adaptation in it.
Yes,
I just thought it was weird that it came up. So
it's a very good.
He plays like a writer or something.
He plays two writers.
Yeah.
He plays two writers, but it's not exactly that part. I mean, there's lots I could tell you about Adaptation. It's a really good movie. It's a really well done example of storytelling and visual media. But what I wanted to describe is that there is a character. The character that Nicolas Cage plays is an author who is struggling to adapt an unadaptable book into a screenplay. And the reason why it's unadaptable is it has no plot. It really doesn't have characters that consistent. It's a series of vignettes about flowers, right? And the characters in that, it's called The Orchid Thief. So there's the titular character is a man who almost went to jail for stealing an orchid from like a preserve. And the secondary character in the book, or the writer of the book, is a journalist who sort of follows him around and finds out like what makes him tick. And there's this scene in this story where we're following the orchid thief and the character and the journalist. And the journalist is played by Meryl Streep. And she is this very kind of cynical, extremely, I would say self-righteous, but there's another word for it, like just kind of judgmental, but like she's a higher class, you know what I mean?
Like elitist?
Elitist, yes. Cynical, elitist, xenophobic, liberal, like East Coast liberal, right?
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Scene, and she
lives in a Manhattan condo, you know, sure.
And spends her time joking about lesser people with her friends, you know, and she's following this guy, and he looks very white trash. I mean, he's not really, but he's lost his teeth. He's all scarred up. We don't find out till later why, and it's actually very sympathetic. And she's following him around, and she's obviously treating him with a certain amount of contempt. And then he describes why orchids are important to him. And the reason why is because orchids are very unique. And in fact, they're very specialized. They'll only appeal to one insect. So they bloom and they're seeking that one singular partner. That's why they're also very rare.
Mm-hmm.
And that insect is the only insect that is right for that flower. And that's how orchids do. And he's describing how this insect is coming to this orchid, and it's a dance as the insect makes love to the orchid, and this dance, which they don't even understand, is part of this cosmic, like this mind, this tiny little detail, this tiny little act is part of what makes the entire world, the entire cosmos. And as he's describing it, the attitude of this woman goes from contempt to desire, because the truth is that he is capable of making meaning out of something so small. And she goes back to her East Coast liberals who can't make meaning out of anything, not a single thing. Everything becomes meaningless under their sort of cynical, contemptuous, elitist attitude. Any kind of fascination, passion, that's you can't have that. You got to be detached. You got to be above that. And they destroy meaning. Like, she goes back to her friends and they're destroying meaning, and she becomes addicted to this guy because he is able to create meaning out of the smallest things. And throughout history, that's something that men did. They made meaning. What this woman lacks is meaning. It's probably why she's an incredible coward with no taste.
Yeah.
And honestly, if men get back into that role of making meaning, I mean, if you look at the Scandinavians, the Norse, like the Viking, they weren't just warriors, they were poets. And they were poets because they had to make meaning out of sacrifice and tragedy. And they did. Right? So that would be a very important skill for a man, would be able to make meaning out of events. And we sort of lost that. And I think that if we could get that back again, we'd be a lot further along to creating another synergy between men and women, shall we say. And with that, I'm going to conclude, and I'm going to say, if you like this show, shall I do the...
let me do one more Super Chow that just came in, and then we can close it out, and we'll look at the other side of this. But I think both sides are connected anyway. But Hannah Wallet, I get it, gives us $5 Super Chow. Thank you. And says, back in my day, all cameras required development rim shot. Okay, thank you. I assume that's a joke of some kind. So I will give you a reaction. And I appreciate the joke. Here we go. What's it?
That's the joke.
Okay. Go ahead and take us out, Alison. All right. What? I can't hear you. You're muted.
Oh, wow. Yes.
Okay.
Course.
There you go.
If you want to send us commentary on anything that we've spoken about, you can do so at feedthebadger.com/justthetip. And if you want to have access to more of my thoughts, and I've been working on sort of a podcast that goes over like storytelling and the kind of meaning making that I'm talking about, that I think that actually needs to happen so that men can sort of pull women out of their strange courtship with the camera. The camera can't give them meaning. It really can't. Please go to feedthebadger.com/subscribe and start up a subscription, and you'll get access to the additional content like that, where I discuss stuff like that and ideas like that. And so feedthebadger.com/justthetip to send us a message, and we will respond to that message on the next show where it makes sense. And feedthebadger.com/subscribe if you want to get access to additional content like the content I spoke about. And back to you, Brian.
All right. Well, if you guys like this video, please hit like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, hit the bell for notifications, leave us a comment, let us know what you guys think about what we discussed on the show today. You'll find a link to the full 3.5 hours of She-Ra, not the She-Ra from the 80s, in the description so you can watch it yourself. And please, please, please share this video because sharing is caring. Thank you so much for coming on today's episode of The Dating Show, and we will talk to you all in the next video.
Are machines, dude. Okay, they are literal machines. They are talking point machines. They are impossible to fucking deal with, especially if you have like a couple dudes who have good memory on top of that too. Holy shit, you're fucked.